Tonight's opening starts with Stranger Than Fiction Porter from Collective Arts Brewing in Hamilton, Ontario. The artwork on this can really is strange, but I think I kind of like it. They don't have much in the way of tasting notes on the can, so I'll just have to go into this blind. So the first thing in is, what does it say here? Electronic components, shipped from the UK. Unexpectedly, although that seems to be increasingly common these days. It is a bunch of these 16-pin IC sockets. Nothing too exciting. I was just running out of them when I was working on a project, so I stocked up. 20 pieces, 16-pin dip IC socket adapter, solder type socket, pitch, dual wipe contact. Currently, these are selling for $2.34 with $1.68 shipping. I got these from CA Electronics 8, who claim to be in China, but as I mentioned, they shipped them from a warehouse in the UK. Nothing particularly out of the ordinary about these. These are just your basic cheap IC sockets, 16 pins, standard pitch. Next thing says that it is business cards. That doesn't sound like something I would have ordered. Oh, magnetic field viewing film. Okay, and it is about the size of a business card. This is interesting stuff. So I'm guessing all those cards were just to protect it from damage in shipping. So there is what it looks like. It's just a featureless gray card with kind of splotchy bits on there. But, there's a magnet. When you hold a magnet up to it or up behind it, ooh, it shows you where the poles of the magnet are. I've got this little magnet sitting that way. If I put it this way, so you can see that the pole is circular and there's a little bit of a halo of the other pole. I'll flip it around. Basically, it looks the same way, but again, when you put it on edge, you can see that the two poles are aimed that way. Here is a couple of hard drive magnets. Which direction are they? Oh, okay. So they've got the two poles at the end, and there's sort of a null pole in the middle. I didn't expect that. I wonder what these little ball magnets look like that I got. Whoa, that's trippy. I wonder what one ball magnet looks like. So in that orientation there, the split between the two halves of the field is right down that way. Then when I rotate it into that, these little buggers are hard to hold on to, into that orientation, there is a pole end on. So the other thing that these things would be good for is if you got a motor, you can be able to see the poles. It's mostly just for curiosity and goofing around, for me anyway. I don't know, have you played with one of these things? Have you found any good practical uses for them other than just demonstrating magnetics? Oh, let me know. Magnetic field viewer card, magnet pattern viewing film demo video. For some reason, this particular one was priced in Australian dollars, but whatever. It came from a Chinese seller called IEQ Shop. Whatever. They have multiple different sizes of them. I picked sort of the mid-range one, and they are fairly pricey at $11.65 Canadian or $12.80 Australian. Since I don't know much about this stuff, I figured I'd check the Oracle of Wikipedia, and it appears that it's just got tiny little nickel flakes suspended in oil inside it. Wow. And then the magnetic lines of force just line everything up in one direction or another. Interesting. Next thing in says push button switch. I think I ordered a few different kinds of switches, so I wonder which kind this is. These are cool. I remember these were quite popular back in the 80s and early 90s in all kinds of different custom-made pieces of equipment. These are essentially little tactile switches, and they come in either non-LED or with an LED indicator on them. PB86 is the part number, and it's the same on both because that molding is the same. I remember back in the day seeing these things on all kinds of different equipment, lighting boards, sound consoles, homemade or custom-made stuff, synthesizers, control panels, all kinds of stuff. I don't know why I bought these other than nostalgia when I found them, but I think they are pretty cool. And I got two different kinds. I got, as I said, the black ones that don't have an LED, and then an assortment. It looks like 2 of each color with an LED. Okay. Let's go see how much I paid for this little nostalgia hit. 10 pieces PB86-A0 small cap 4-pin momentary SPDT. Oh, hey, dual throw, square push button tact switch. I got the 10 pieces in black, which cost me $10.45 Canadian plus shipping from class_CJ. They also have the ones with no LED in an assortment of colors, or you can get an assortment pack. And from the same seller, 10 pieces PB. All the rest of that is the same, except for this is a red LED 6-pin momentary stage control push button tact switch. Okay, I chose the 14 pieces, so 2 each of 7 colors, and that came to $16.14 Canadian plus shipping. Anyway, there is some dimension stuff and whatnot. Oh, right, there is also a dual LED version. Okay, so it is a low current, low voltage kind of a switch. We kind of guessed that. Tactile switches tend to be that. Yeah, used for, here you go, stage lighting control equipment, Chinese things, video processors, matrix controllers, security equipment, cashier equipment, all manner of stuff like that. They claim to be rated for 50K cycles. Yeah, I just went and checked. The same seller also has the 2 LED versions, and it looks like they have both a red and a green. I should have grabbed some of those too. Maybe I will. Next in, we have plastic socket, it claims. We already had some sockets earlier. Oh, okay, RJ45 connectors. Why did I order more of those? Must have been a good deal. Ah, that's what's special about these ones. These are the, I don't know, push through, or I can't remember what they're called, but these ones, you don't have to worry about getting the ends perfectly cut even and getting in there. You can just shove them all the way through as far as you want. Then you can get the back here lined up, the jacket lined up underneath the little crimp bit there. And then once you crimp it, you can just cut the ends off flush like that and have a nice little connector. I got these because I've never actually used this type. I always get the type that has the solid front face on it, so you have to get everything in there nice and evenly and make sure it lines up underneath the pins before you crimp it. So I figured I'd grab a handful of those just to see if I like them better. 20 pieces RJ45 8P8C connector, Cat6 modular connector, network cable, and pass-through. There's your search term there, RJ45 and pass-through. These ones I got at auction, 20 of them for $413. That's expensive compared to the usual ones that I got. Whatever. I've got them now, and I guess that must have been fairly cheap. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bid on them. They are really 100% brand new with high quality. You will receive hundreds, 20 pieces. Wow, holy keyword stuffing, Batman. And now from the Suspense is Killing Me department, the big box. What's in it? What do you think? I have a pretty good idea because this one came quite quickly after I ordered it. And I remember making a note that I was pretty sure when I got it. So, it has 3 smaller boxes in it. Each of those smaller boxes is labeled Newer Video Conference Made in China. So, we have a little suction cup mounty thing, a little swivel head mounty thing, a flexible disc of some sort, a USB-C cable, and in the bubble pack here, a little LED light. Is it charged? It's not charged. Okay, I guess we need some power to this thing then. So let's plug it into this cheap little power bank, and what happens when we turn it on here? Nothing. It says it's charging on the back there though. I guess it's fully dead. I wonder if any of the other ones are charged. No, none of them ship charged. Okay. Well, I will plug them in and charge them for a little while I go and look at the listing, I guess. Newer video conferencing light kit. Dimmable laptop light with strong suction cup. Got these from Emily and Lily, who are in Brampton, Ontario, if that's their real names. Free shipping, and currently they show them as selling for $9.99, although they don't have any in stock on this listing. And this is the listing I'm going to link you to because that's the one I bought it from. But when I bought it, and I bought 3 of them, they were $5.99 each. Wow. That's why I took a gamble on them, because that's just so cheap. Here's another listing from the same seller, and they've actually got some in stock under a different listing for reasons, and they're selling them for $15 each. There may be other sellers with the same thing. Matter of fact, I can see there are other sellers down here with the same thing for different prices. So here is everything that I got in mine. The light itself, a silicone pad, which I still haven't found an explanation for, a cold shoe adapter, suction cup mount, charging cable. Aha! For some surfaces, the suction cup is not easy to attach. You can use the equipped silicone pad with glue to directly stick to the bottom of the suction cup and then stick on the surface. Okay. So dimmable, softer light with steady color temperature, and it's got a built-in frosted diffuser plate. Yeah, it seems to. Built-in 2100 milliamp hour capacity battery, sure. Now, I'm going to let these things charge up a little bit more, and then we'll come back and play with them a bit. This little manual has very little useful information in it, but what it does say is it's got a 3.7 volt battery in it. It's a 5-watt device. It can throw light between 3 and 6 meters. 2100 milliamp hour battery. There we go. 60-degree beam angle, 5600 Kelvin, plus or minus 200, and 800 lumens. Let's look at one of these little ball heads that came with it. So it's just a little swivelly ball head. Okay. Locks down. A little locking thing as usual for camera stuff. That's good. That's another quarter 20 on there, and that rotates. Okay, cool. So they've had a bit of time on charge, and they've got a bit of battery in them. And this is a kind of a cool feature. You can attach them to each other using these little cold shoe attachments here. Let's turn them on. Where's the knob on this one? There it is. This one's still plugged in, and it's a little bit brighter than the other two. They haven't fully charged yet, but that's kind of cool. So there, I've shut off one of the lights above my bench and lock the exposure, and then when you bring these guys in, that does a very good job of lighting things up, I think, especially since they're not all fully charged yet. Light's coming back. One moment here. So I'm going to let these fully charge up. I'm going to experiment with them a little bit, figure them out, and I'll probably come back at some point in the future, do a teardown with them, and see how long they last on a full charge, stuff like that. You know, the usual reviewish kind of things. I think they're kind of a cool little light. And I may use them. I don't think they're bright enough to replace my main lighting here yet. But when I'm in other corners of my world here doing video, I think it would be handy to have some extra little bits of light. So that's what those guys are for. And there is the contents of today's Mailbag Monday haul. Quite the variety as usual. So transit times, shipping times, whatever you want to call it. The video lights only took 5 days because they came from a Canadian seller. Yay. The 16-pin IC sockets that shipped from the UK took 32 days. These push-button switches took 21 days. The mag viewing film took 61 days. And the slowpoke of the lot, these RJ45s took 104 days to get here. Wow. I have a feeling that I forgot that I'd ordered those, and I may have ordered a second set of them. I don't know. We'll see in the future. What am I going to do with all this stuff? Well, video lights, obviously, for doing video. These are going back into stock because I was almost running out of them. These are at least partially nostalgia and partially, well, they'll go into stock. They may show up in a project at some point in the future. some project that I haven't even thought of yet. And this magnetic viewing film was just for funsies mostly, and just to, I don't know, take a look at and satisfy my curiosity whenever I have something magnetic going on. Anyway, I think that is it. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube channel members for helping me fund this foolishness, and of course for helping me keep my beer fridge full. That's the important part. What else? Comments and questions down below as usual. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.